It would have been so easy to have helped me out here. I required so little, but fuck you is your answer. Over text, Argento told Bourdain to call the fucking doctor and declared I am the victim here. Bourdain texted back, "My A, I can't believe you have so little affection or respect for me that you would be without empathy for this. Is there anything I can do?" To which Argento wrote, "Stop busting my balls." Bourdain simply replied, "Okay." She kept texting and kept the argument going after that happened, but he didn't respond after that point because I think he was gone.
So a couple of days ago, I'm on the phone with a friend who lives in a foreign country. And we're just chit-chatting. We're just catching up. And at some point in time, I let him know that I just lost an acquaintance to the ugly, unmentionable S word. And I remember there was a pause. My friend took a pause for a couple seconds, and then he asked me what happened. To which I responded, "Well, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure because this wasn't quite a friend of mine. We weren't that close. This was a friend to another friend. I mean, I didn't quite know much. But rumors do have it that he was having some issues with the wife and all that. And the moment I said that, my friend said, 'That's it right there. That's what I wanted to hear.' And I was like, 'What exactly do you mean? That's what he wanted to hear?' And he went on to tell me that it's always about matters of the heart. I begged him to explain a little bit more. And he went on to explain that rarely would you hear people taking on such a path on just the other areas of life, like money and career and all that, as much as they would do it when it comes to matters of the heart. So I gave it a little bit of a thought, but then I brushed it to the side because fortunately for me, I don't have enough data in that area to work with. In other words, I don't know many people who have walked down that path. Anyways, as I woke up this morning and I went on YouTube, I had this video pop up, and it was a summary on the last 72 hours of the life of Anthony Bourdain. So, Anthony Bourdain used to be a world-renowned chef, writer, and TV personality. And I got to know this man during Obama's last days as president, because I remember very clearly when Obama visited Vietnam. That must have been somewhere around 2015, I believe, 2015-16. And I remember watching on TV, I believe, Obama having a drink with this man, in some kind of a bar. And I found the video to be very intriguing because it was one of those times where you got to see Obama in a less official state, in a shirt. I think he was wearing a white shirt and having a beer in a bar, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I just find it so fascinating. And he was with this man, Anthony Bourdain. So that's it. That's how I got to know the person, Anthony Bourdain. And after that, I would watch him on TV a couple other times. After which the next big news would be of his passing, some 3-4 years after that. And it turns out Anthony Bourdain himself had walked down this path, this dark path of no return, and he had done it to himself. I mean, so I watched this on the news, and it was so heart-wrenching because even though I knew very little or nothing about Anthony Bourdain, you could tell from his vibes that he was just such an incredibly beautiful soul. And yeah, he chose that path. And I really had no idea what had happened at the time. The best we could get from the news was, well, he had done that to himself, and that was it. Life went on, and I completely forgot about him until this morning that this video popped up on my screen. And so I watched it, and it turns out that this man had gotten himself into a very, very toxic relationship, which will ultimately lead to his demise.
There were undoubtedly a chain of events in the final 3 days that catalyzed Bourdain's decision to take his own life, much of which revolved around his girlfriend of 2 years, Italian actress and director Asiaargento. Bourdain met Asiaargento, who was 20 years his junior, in 2016 while filming an episode of Parts Unknown in her hometown of Rome. Their relationship quickly escalated and became very serious, very fast. Bourdain gushed about Argento enthusiastically in interviews and on social media. However, their relationship was a complicated and volatile one, and for Bourdain, Argento apparently became an obsession. According to Bourdain's biographer Charles Lee Hewson, during their relationship, Bourdain desperately tried to keep Argento loyal to him by giving the financially struggling actress money and constant emotional support. Lee Hewson says that Bourdain also began taking large amounts of steroids, human growth hormone, and Viagra so that his age gap would not become a problem with Argento. On Tuesday, June 5, 2018, 3 days before he took his own life, paparazzi photos of Argento and 28-year-old French reporter Hugo Clement were published in the Italian gossip magazine Chi. The pictures showed Argento dancing and walking hand in hand with Clement in Rome, and would become a catalyst in Bourdain's passing. It was at this point that he and Argento started fighting over the phone. Bourdain started talking about dying and choking on a hot dog before staring at Steed.
I'm pretty sure that pole will support my body weight then. Well, if I can hang myself.
Steed says he later found Bourdain alone smoking on the balcony and approached him to give his condolences about the photos of Argento and Clement.
It's like, I don't want to have to fucking deal with these fucking, he's talking about Asia.
In the 3 days before his death, Bourdain had Googled asiaargento around 300 times. It would have been so easy to have helped me out here. I required so little, but fuck you is your answer. Over text, Argento told Bourdain to call the fucking doctor and declared, I am the victim here. Bourdain texted back, I can't believe you have so little affection or respect for me that you would be without empathy for this. Is there anything I can do? To which Argento wrote, stop busting my balls. Bourdain simply replied, okay. She kept texting and kept the argument going after that happened, but he didn't respond after that point because I think he was gone. At 9:10 a.m. on June the 8th, 2018, celebrated chef, writer and TV host Anthony Bourdain was found dead after taking his own life in the bathroom of his room at Le Chambard Hotel in Kiersberg, a village in the Alsace region of France.
And as I watched this, I couldn't help but ask myself the question, was this preventable? Could this have been prevented? And I think the answer to that is yes. Yeah. And in fact, I don't believe anyone is worth dying for in the manner that Bourdain did. No one is worth you hurting yourself over to that degree. This was a man who had a lot going on for him. This was a man who had his shit together. He had money, he had friends, he had fame, he had a beautiful daughter. And he had upwards of 3 billion beautiful women around the world. He could have picked one from. Yet, he did what he did. And I don't understand that, just like Tracy Chapman puts it, matters of the heart are hard. Matters of the heart can be hard sometimes. I understand that. I very much understand. But I equally do believe that the heart can be tamed and that we can control the heart. How exactly anyone chooses to do that is up to them. But you see, Jim Rohn said, we should stand guard at the doors of our minds. And I believe that we could go a little bit further to stand guard at the doors of our hearts.